Hey there, Hofstra fans. Welcome to this week's edition of the W. Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. I'm Mike Sullivan, joined as always by head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team, Rob Anspach. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Pretty good, Coach. And got Ryder coming up tomorrow, but of course the news coming out this week will start off. Justin Accardino, career done here in Hofstra. First off, looking back, an All-American a year ago, what did he mean for your program?
Well, he was a great leader, great role model for the younger guys. He was very hard-working, one of the hardest working guys we've ever had in the program. So, from that point, we lose a lot of leadership in the room. Going out there, he led by example a lot. So it was easy for the guys to watch what he was doing and then just kind of follow it. From the team standpoint, what we lose is we lose a guy that was ranked 4th in the country, returning All-American. So obviously that's a match. You go from thinking at 149 pounds we're going to win, 90% of them, to, it became more of a toss-up in a lot of our matches. So definitely hurts, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it. So we just got to kind of move forward and keep going on. But Justin's been a great member of this program. He was a leader, and I'd like to thank him for all that he's done for us.
Moving forward at 149, the guys you've thrown out there on the mat this season, how did they move forward, knowing that Justin officially won't be coming back? Guys like Matt Spataro, how does he move forward now this season?
Well, I think, again, Justin has been battling this knee injury all year long, so while we were trying to, it kept getting pushed back, his start date kept getting pushed back, and the more we pushed it back, I think it was becoming more and more clear to those guys that there was a good chance he wasn't going to be able to make it back. His knee wasn't stable enough to come back. So I think they started feeling that right before Christmas, around the garden and stuff like that. They're like, okay, this is going to be my spot. But what we did as a staff then is, because we had Tyler Banks at 157 pounds, we were wrestling with Cody at 157 and Matt at 149. Well, Tyler Banks is now back. So one of those guys has to be out of lineup, so we did a wrestle-off. And Cody ended up winning that wrestle-off, so he's going to be our guy moving forward at 149 pounds. I think he's excited about the opportunity to go to a weight class that's more natural for him. He's definitely not a 57-pounder. He's a little bit small going out there, so I think he's excited about this opportunity.
Now, you bring up Tyler Banks returning to the lineup. What does he bring at 157 that you think will benefit your team moving forward?
Well, one experience. He's been in the lineup for 3 years now. He's been wrestling in the conference championships the last 2 years. This, will be his 3rd year there. He's won some big matches for us. He's been involved in all these things. So he provides some experience and hopefully some consistency. I mean, we're going to see what takes. It's kind of hard to gauge where he is right now. And we've seen him in the room. He looks really good in the practice room, but to think that his conditioning level is going to be where it needs to be after 8 weeks off is just, I don't think it's realistic. I mean, he's going to go out there, he's going to compete hard, he's going to do the things we expect him to do, but I don't know how much we can expect from him on Wednesday night, but we need him. We need him to step up, so we'll take it for what it is.
You mentioned last week a wrestle-off at 133 as well. Moving forward, what are you going with at that weight class?
Right now, Jamie Franco is going to be our guy moving forward. He won the wrestle-off there. But, I think the biggest thing that we started preaching to these guys is that none of your spots are safe. If you're not doing the job, there doesn't need to be a wrestle-off. We're going to pull you, and we're going to put somebody in there and give them an opportunity. So I think hopefully this was an eye-opener for Jamie. He'll start wrestling a little bit better, wrestling to that level he was last year, where he was kind of just going out and wrestling. And this year he seems to be very hesitant. So hopefully this will shake him up a little bit and get him moving in the right direction.
Return to the mats tomorrow against the Ryder Bronx after a couple weeks off. Your second CAA dual meet as well. How important is this meet tomorrow, not only because it's a conference meet, but to get this team finally back on track to get your first dual meet victory?
Yeah, it's very important for the confidence of the team moving forward. We've had 2 weeks off, about 2.5 weeks off, so one of the things we've been stressing to the team is that we can still accomplish all our goals, that this is a new part of the season. Let's kind of wipe away that first half, that first semester, and let's just look to the future and what we can control. We can't do anything about what happened the first semester. So we spent a lot of time in the last 2 weeks talking to the guys and really going back to basic wrestling, just where the staff felt we were getting beat on some very basic fundamental wrestling. So we spent the last 2 weeks just working on that, getting the guys, hopefully getting them fired up and feeling good about themselves moving forward and letting them know that, hey, while Ryder is a good team, they are not Minnesota and they are not Oklahoma, and some of the other teams that we have wrestled in the past. So let's go out there and feel good about ourselves and get our hands raised and let this be like the springboard for the rest of the semester.
How important is it for you, Coach, for your veteran guys, the Steve Bonanos, Luke Veit, Paul Snyder? How's it important for those guys, to be consistent threats for your team, especially Steve starting off a struggle in the first part of the season. Now with this time off, how important is it for him to get back on track?
Well, it's important for anybody, whether they're a veteran or not. The more times you get your hand raised, the better you feel about yourself. So, but especially when you look at a guy like Steve, who has wrestled and won at such a high level, for him to be struggling this year might take more of a toll on him than some of the other guys who maybe haven't had as much success. So it is very important for Steve to get back on the right track of winning, and I think this break has been good for him, as we didn't take him out to the Midlands to kind of rest him and really give him a mental and physical break to make this final push here, the last 2 months of his career, and throughout all the guys to just keep winning. We're going to lean heavily on our first 3 weight classes and Paul Snyder. Really going forward here, that's 4 weight classes that we need to win at a pretty consistent level. From that, you need 6 dual meets, basically 6 matches in your dual meet to win it. So we need 2 other people to step up, and that's what we're kind of talking to the guys like Tyler Banks and Nick Turdick and Jermaine John, who have had some success, especially Tyler and Jermaine. Now Nick's new to the lineup this year, but he's been in the program for 3 years, and it's time to start winning matches. This is what you've been brought in to do. So let's start winning. So we're starting to put a little bit more pressure on those guys to come up with some dual meet wins and help the team out to just carry their weight, because those 4 guys can't win the dual meet by themselves. They need other people to help them out. So while it's important for them to be consistent so the guys can kind of rely on them and us as a staff can rely on those guys for wins, we definitely need our other 6 weight classes to start wrestling better.
Finally, Coach, what's going to be key to victory tomorrow night?
To win more matches than we lose? No, it's definitely going to come out to be, I think we have to go out with a smart game plan. We've wrestled, when you wrestle teams in your conference, you see them a lot. You see them at open tournaments, you see them at the conference tournament, you see them at dual meets, so you typically get to wrestle a bunch of them over and over and over again throughout the year. So we know where their strengths and weaknesses are, so we need our guys, like especially, again, the first 4 weight classes, really, I think, we're favored at 49 as well. We need to not just win, we need to win in dominant fashion to get the team rolling, score some bonus points, make the job for the other guys a little bit easier so they're not feeling that pressure. And if we go out there and control the matches, I think we'll do all right.
The Pride returns to the mats tomorrow night against the Rider Bronx. For head coach Rob Anspach, I'm Mike Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in to the WMAC Coaches Report.